All right, Toure, what's up, my friend?
Joy.
Hey, friend. Have you
I am
cast your
so
ballot yet for the
excited
New
to
York City
be
mayor?
here.
It's great to have you. It's great to have you. Have you voted yet?
Yes, my wife and I went and voted yesterday.
Okay. Do you care to reveal who you prefer?
Absolutely. I voted for Zohran at number 1, Mike Blake number 2. Don't remember, but it wasn't Andrew Cuomo. He was not ranked at all.
At all. Thank you so much. There's so much to talk about. You know, people want me to ask you about the little internal. You know, we both used to work at a certain network, and there's a little drama that you might have created out there on these internet streets, on these social media streets. Do you have any comment about that particular drama?
I didn't create it. I think I ended it. Something
You said
had to
there's an
be
ether
done.
beat out there
If you've
waiting
been
for
there,
you.
you know what I mean? It just something that had to be done. Somebody had to say something.
Ooh, Toure, a little bit gangster. But we brought you on because you have been covering. First of all, I love your Substack. It's called Culture Fries. If you guys are not subscribed to Culture Fries, you must subscribe to it because it is like, whoo, Lord. It's in addition to subscribing to all of Toure's socials, it will keep you hopping. You have been covering this Diddy trial because we're taking a little turn here. Thank you very much, Citizen Morgan, for joining and becoming a Team TJRS member. You've been covering this Diddy trial, and it is wild. It is wild, and I'm thankful you are covering it so I don't have to pay attention to it every day. Talk to me about what you think your takeaways are at this point of this insane trial.
I mean, the number one thing that I'm thinking about right now is he's not going home. There's no chance of that. The government has proven sex trafficking as far as interstate transportation to engage in prostitution. Whether or not you like him, whether or not you think he's a good or bad guy, you can't get beyond they were flying people around consistently in order to engage in prostitution. In New York, in Miami, in LA, they had a special agent on the stand going, look, here's where Bad Boy Entertainment paid for Paul to fly from New York to LA, and here's a text from Diddy saying, can't wait till you get here so we can I mean, like, it's just, and the drug trafficking stuff in terms of give drugs to another person and take, like, that, all that stuff is, so the smaller things are done. The bigger questions: was there a criminal enterprise, i.e. racketeering, a group of people who worked for and with him to facilitate and conceal what was going on with the freak-offs, i.e. sex trafficking? Because the core of it, did you sex traffic Cassie? I think they have made that case. A lot of people who are smarter than me and know the law more than me keep saying, I don't think so. I think if you talk to a bunch of lawyers who've been paying attention to this, you're going to get like 70-30, 80-20 saying they haven't made the racketeering case. I think you see, people working for Diddy, setting up the freak-offs, the record business, allowing him to control Cassie, locking her into a situation she couldn't get out of. You see his assistant trying to conceal the crimes and like help him get out of things when, bribe to get the tape, pay people off. It's very similar to the government's case against R. Kelly. I would think that they might be able to get racketeering and would be able to get sex trafficking, Reid Cassie. And the other thing about it, Joy, is the folks in the jury have seen freak-off tapes. And they have seen smidgens of them. One clip was at least about an hour that the government chose. Obviously, the government is going to choose the worst parts, right? So we didn't see that at all. So we can't even factor that into our judgment of how is the government doing? How's the defense doing? Like, there's this whole X that we don't see. But we know that some of the jurors looked in a way that made it seem like they were disgusted by what they saw.
Why is his mother there? I guess his mother's there to support him, but the idea that your mom is watching this evidence to me is so horrifying that I'm kind of shocked that she's sitting. Is she sitting through this stuff?
Janice, as far as I know, has been many, many, many days. As far as I know, we haven't seen her as much lately. She was a stalwart early on. I think she kept going longer than the teenage daughters. And after some of the Cassie really gross stuff, the teenage daughters stopped coming. He probably should have known we're going to get into some really disgusting stuff here and told them not to come, but they have to live with that memory of sitting there. Dad is sitting right there, and somebody is saying he did these horrendous things to her. But maybe he was thinking of himself and trying to get himself out of the problem. We continue to see the older boys going. I appreciate the family supporting, but it's a very rough road for him.
Let's talk about Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi gave some testimony. You did a post about it. His testimony was, to me, it seemed like it was important because it somehow showed that Diddy was not just doing the freakouts for his own amusement, but that he was aggressing other potential suitors of Cassie. Is that accurate?
Yes, the coercion, the force aspect that goes along with sex trafficking, you see that when she starts to kind of go out with Kid Cudi, Cassie, and he basically does like a movie Rambo sort of scene to like get her back. I mean, like it's a MC. Cudi calls him a Marvel supervillain, and the whole courtroom cracks up. But it's not funny. Cudi is with Cassie, and then Diddy goes into Cudi's home, and Cudi finds out from Capricorn, Diddy's assistant, who calls Cassie at the hotel and says, "Hey, Diddy's in Cudi's house," and Cudi's there, and he hears the speakerphone. He's like, "What? Motherfucker's in my house?" And he starts going to his house. He gets to his house, and he sees, oh, there's Diddy in the truck with the bodyguard. He must have thought this looks bad because he zooms up the street. Diddy's truck, Diddy jumps into the truck with the bodyguard. They're zooming up the street, chasing Cudi. I mean, like, it's a movie scene. This is insane. You are chasing this man with guns. The next day, somebody arsoned his car after Diddy had said, "I'm going to arson his car." And this is one of the predicate crimes for racketeering. So, I mean, there's bribery, there's witness tampering, we've heard sex trafficking, we've heard drug trafficking, we've heard all sorts of physical violence against multiple women. I don't think we've heard of any violence toward a man, but multiple stories of violence toward women.
Is it true? Because it's getting to be where it's hard to tell what's real and what's like AI fake stuff on YouTube, on Twitter, on YouTube, on everywhere. That
True.
Prince, Wade, there was some sort of Prince tape. Is that real?
I don't recall that in my intake of information. This is a lot of information, right? And we get it in these sort of piecemeal ways. And I'm watching the reporters who are in the room who are on TikTok, and I'm reading NBC's courtroom reporter and ABC's courtroom reporter and the Daily Mail. And you can kind of piece together the story from the three, because the NBC reporter didn't fully understand what they wrote, but the Daily Mail added another sentence that allowed me to understand, oh, that's what they were saying. And that observation seemed strange until I saw it also on TikTok through the reporters there. So, you got to sort of piece the story together. There's definitely, I read a lot of Matthew Lee, Inner City News. Is it Inner City Press? Inner City Press, who does extraordinary work. He's sitting in the courtroom. He's telling you, this is exactly the testimony that is happening. It's the most extraordinary. So I love his work.
And you know what's so wild? Because we started this show tonight talking about the Tucker v. Ted Cruz,
Your favorite.
mauling.
You love that story.
Yeah, I mean, he mauled him. But the thing is, I think you've brought us right back to that point, that you've got a United States senator whose main fiduciary duty, his only duty, is to represent the citizens of Texas and to represent their interests in Washington. That's his job. But he's on this whole rabbit hole of how he says that essentially God commanded him to support Israel. I'm not sure that is why we're electing members of Congress or the United States Senate, but you've got this whole sort of evangelical branch of the same thing of saying, no, I've got to make sure that this foreign country is put first. To me, it is so bizarre for a party that calls itself America First. But as you said, even in the microcosm of New York City, you have people who are saying that issue is more important to me than, I don't know, can I afford to live here?
I think that we have seen a lot of really tragic things happen to Jewish people in the last few months, right? And we condemn that, and we certainly don't want any individuals to be hurt for political reasons, right? That's not right. I think that Israel's behavior in the Middle East has made Jewish people in America and perhaps the rest of the world less safe because they are destroying the image of Israel, right? And like creating a reason for people to be angry at Israel, and the whatever moral superiority that the world felt toward them in the decades after the Holocaust, you are now committing a genocide. So how can the world support you?
The issue too is the reaction of the right and some Democrats too. Let me just be honest, because I think Joe Biden is in this camp too.
Yeah.
To the idea that people are repelled by starving children who are being bombed at school. If it does not repel you to see children who are at school being bombed and flattened by bombs, by our bombs that we're paying for,
Yes.
or people starving to death when food is literally right outside the border, but the nation that is occupying, the occupying power won't let the food in. If that does not repel you, I'm not sure I want to be friends with you. And the reality is the fact that young people are protesting that. And by the way, the protesters against this, I mean, it's the IRC has argued it's a genocide. It's been argued in international court that it's an apparent genocide. That includes young Jewish people, young Black people, young Muslims. It is a cross section of young Americans and older Americans who are saying this is wrong and we don't want any part of it. The fact that protesting that has all but been made illegal.
Yes.
While we're also saying, yeah, we're going to go to war because Bibi Netanyahu wants us to, I find that insane, personally.
No, it is insane. And we have allowed the discourse to be shaped around somehow criticism of Israel as anti-Semitic. I have tremendous criticism for the government of Israel. None of that is anti-Semitic. It's about the military policy that you take toward the Palestinian people. It is not anti-Semitic. And the attempt to cow us and make us be silent over the like I reject that entirely going forward. The most peaceful and secure thing Israel can do to guarantee its safety and peace in the future is to allow Palestine to have peace. Allow them to be a country, and then you and the other countries in the Middle East will live in peace. But that's not even
and that should be the goal. The goal should be what the United Nations called for and which the Palestinians are calling for, which is a two-state solution. I think no one disagrees that that is the actual solution. And I don't think a war with Iran is getting us there, Toure. I think that is bananas. If we're going to war and we're doing the whole Iraq war thing again, but now we're going to do it in Iran, crazy. And I hope that this is not something that happens. Toure, my friend, I so appreciate you overtime and co-hosting with us, sister. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
And y'all, please, thank you. Subscribe to Culture Fries on,
Congratulations.
Thank you. We did it. Look, we here. We outside. Well, we inside. Technically, we're inside. But you know.
Can I ask you like just one question? Can you just tell us what is the difference between this show and the ReidOut? Like, what are we getting now that we weren't getting before?
Well, first of all, a lot less commercials. For one thing, right? And the thing is, I feel like, I think you probably got to agree, because as for those of you who don't know, Toure and I both simultaneously worked at MSNBC back in the days when he was on The Cycle, and when I had a dayside show called The Reid Report, a very short-lived dayside show called The Reid Report. I was actually Toure's lead-in. And so we both have worked in corporate media and in various sort of ways. But the difference in doing it on your own is that there is a liberation, there's a freedom, because you don't have to worry about kind of the oversight, right, over the things that you can feel comfortable saying. I mean, I can tell you in corporate media, you're not going to hear about a genocide in Gaza.
Conversation we just had would never happen on CNN or MSNBC.
No, because there is a real, I would say, almost a prohibition about talking about Palestinians the way that we just did. And I don't know what that's about, but there is a hesitation to really approach the issue of Palestinians in a real way. Because I think there is a sympathy, is an empathy for Israel, which I think is perfectly, as you said, I understand why people have an empathy, but understand Israel is a country, not a people. there are actually more Jewish people in the United States than in Israel. It's pretty even. It's about 7.4 million, 7.5 million. But there are still more people here. This is not a people, and there are Jewish people all over the world. They are a diaspora like Black people are. There are Black people all over the world. There are Africans all over the world. There are Jewish people all over the world. This is not the sum total of these people. This is a country. And I think that, and I hate that it's Tucker Carlson, honestly, Toure, that sort of forced this conversation. But he said, and I think he's right, that we as Americans get to criticize this country without being immediately written off as somehow anti-Semitic for criticizing a nation. This is a nation state with a government, and when this government does things we disagree with, as Americans, we ought to have the right to disagree with that. And we ought to have a right to protest that country. If you're saying that just protesting that country means you get deported, means you get arrested, that you can't even speak against a foreign country, I don't know how that's America. That's my thought.
It's not. Well, beautifully said. Congratulations. I'll come back anytime. Please have me back. I'm so proud of you. Look at this.
Thank you.
Joy Reid, your own show again. Nobody
we outside.
You. And now I can say whatever I want. You can keep it. You always seem to keep it real and not be constrained by the corporate media shackles. So I'm like, okay, what else is there for Joy? What more of your heart can you give us?
Honestly, that's probably why I don't work in corporate media anymore, Toure. But yes, I mean, look, I try to keep it real. I'm not a good enough actress to not keep it real. So you're getting what you always got, which is I just kind of say what I think. And also, you know what? The idea, and you do this too, Toure, which is what I so respect about you as a journalist. We're not just saying our feelings. Yeah. You actually have to do a little work to actually kind of understand the issues that you're talking about. It's not just opinion, it's also facts, and you're trying to give analysis, and that is the difference between just sort of yapping about things, which you can watch, which is fun. I think The Five, it's like they just chat, it's fine, they're giving their opinion, and I think there are shows that do that, and you can enjoy that, and it's fun. But you know what, we're trying to give people a little bit of a foundation, so when you're having those conversations with your Trumpy uncle or with your MAGA relatives, at least you are kind of fact-based, right? We're trying to give people a little bit some facts to go with.
Okay. I love it. I feel like the logo, it's giving me Schoolhouse Rock. Was that purposeful?
It's giving Schoolhouse Rock, but no, it's also just giving fun. Like we're literally about fun, joy, and fact. And I feel like that logo was giving, and I have to tell you, it's also giving a little bit of 90s theme song, a 90s sitcom. You know what I mean? It was trying to give a little bit of 90s sitcom, just a little bit, because I'm a 90s girl. I mean, what can I do?
Hey.
There we go.
Okay.
Toure, my friend, we are wrapping it up. This is the end of the show. You have been a joy to have around, and we're going to do this often. Toure and Joy, I feel like it's a thing people want. We're going to do more of it, my friend. And everybody, please subscribe to Culture Fries on Substack. It is the bomb. Also subscribe, or also make sure you like, share this show, but also go to and follow Toure on TikTok, on IG, all the places that he is, because he is just as much fun and phenomenal on those platforms as he is here. Toure, thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Joy. Love you.
Love you. Bye.